Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists veterinarians with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about how much time off should a veterinarian get. So if you're an employed veterinary associate, how much total time off should the employer give you each year? First, it's going to be in the employment contract how much time off you get. And time off has 4 components. So 1 is vacation, 2 sick days, 3 continuing education, and then 4 federal holidays. So those 4 things kind of make up the total time off. There are kind of 2 types of systems for vacation. You have a pure PTO system. So PTO is paid time off. And I guess the corporate owned practices, kind of the big conglomerates that are gobbling up all the veterinary owned practices lately, they're more likely to use a pure PTO system. And so in a pure PTO system, the vet would have kind of 1 bucket of time off, and they can do whatever they want with that time off. It doesn't matter if it's a sick day or a holiday or whatever, it's coming out of that bucket if they're not in the office for that day. And in a system like that, normally the vet would then accrue a certain amount per pay period, and then assuming they've accrued enough, then they can use it. 1 tip, no vet should accept an accrual system. It should be, this is how much time off you get per year, and from the beginning of the year. Having to accrue time off is just fairly rare for an advanced level healthcare provider. So you don't want to accept some kind of accrual system. It should just be, you get what you get. Now, how much is a normal amount? Well, for most vets, it'll be 10 to 15 days of vacation time. It'll be 3 to 5 days for sick leave. Now, sick days are sometimes state dependent, meaning there are many states that have laws in place that state if you are an employee, a full-time employee, you are then allowed this many days of sick time off per year. Continuing education, somewhere between 3 to 5 days as well. And then lastly, the federal holidays, most places observe 6 to 7 federal holidays. So let's just kind of add them up. So let's say you got 10 vacation days, 3 sick days, 7 federal holidays, that's 20. And then continuing education, another 3, then that gets you to 23 total days off. That's okay. It should be somewhere between 20 to 30 days total time off. You're not going to see more, or at least it's very unlikely you would see more than that in any veterinary contract. If you're only getting 15 days of total time off, that's a big red flag as well. So why is that a red flag if you're getting a very low amount? Well, I find employers who maybe don't appreciate a work-life balance, or they expect the vet to just be in the office all of the time. They're usually more difficult to work with, or don't appreciate kind of just the need for a little bit of time off every once in a while. So if you're only being offered a very low amount, that's a job you should probably just move on from and find another opportunity. 1 benefit of these bigger corporate-owned practices is that it's pretty standardized how much time off they provide, and it's usually pretty good. I find that kind of egregious time off is usually for the smaller vet-owned practices, and it's possible maybe they just don't understand what the industry standard is, or maybe it's just possible they just don't want to give that much time off. But you'll usually get a decent amount of time off if you're with a corporate-owned practice. So what can you negotiate? Well, the vacation is what you kind of want to focus on. Now, obviously, it depends if it's a pure PTO system or it's segmented. But if you're going to focus on one thing, and like let's just say you want 5 more days, then you want 5 more vacation days. You don't want to add 5 continuing education days. Because you can do what you want with a vacation day, whereas if it's a continuing education day, then you'd have to do continuing education, and some people just want the flexibility And then as far as holidays go, that is what it is. There's not going to be any negotiation as far as holidays go. Now, maybe if you're in a vet specialty and that when you're on call, that's one thing you need to think about. Okay, well, you're giving me 20 days, including these 7 federal holidays, but I'm going to be on call for 3 of them. Will I get an additional 3 days time off that way? It equals out. And most places would do it that way, but it won't be written in the contract that way. So you need to make certain and talk to the employer about, all right, if I am on call and I have to come in on these days, will I get makeup days after the fact? So that's something to keep in mind if you're in a vet specialty that's on call. If you're just a general vet who's really never on call, then that's not something you need to worry about. So in summary, somewhere between 20 to 30 days would be a standard amount of time off for a veterinarian. You can negotiate it, whether the employer is willing to do that or not, I don't know. But it's certainly something that you don't want to get, get the short shrift on. One other consideration. I forgot to mention this. If you are on a pure production employment relationship, meaning especially in the vet industry, they use pro sal a lot. And so that means you get a percentage of the collections that the practice receives. The more time off you take, the less money you're going to make. If you're just on a straight base salary, then take as much time off as you want. It's not going to affect your compensation. If you're on some kind of productivity model where it's in the vet industry, it's almost always based upon net collections. The less you work, the less you're going to make. So there is a balance in between, all right, if I want to make this much money, I can't take 30 days off versus, I guess what your target is as far as what you want to make per year. So that's one consideration you definitely should take into account. If you have any questions about your employment agreement, you can always call my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us through our website, chellelaw.com. And I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.